Let's talk about ADHD, autism, neurodivergent traits, and running a business. There's some amazing, talented gifts, and there's some crazy challenges. Hey everybody, my name is Jacqui Grant and welcome to this podcast video, wherever you're checking it out. This one's probably going to be one of the shorter ones because one of the things is that me right now doing this video, it is the end of the day and I'm starting to get a little fatigued. So when it comes to running a business, one of the biggest things is to be able to have moments where you can switch off, that work-life balance, which we talk to and work with businesses on as part of business coaching. But one of the things is, as a neurodivergent person, that can be really challenging to do. Have you ever noticed anyone that you have in your life? So if you're more neurotypical, but you have a neurodivergent person in your life, and they come in and they say, right, let's get this done. And they're high energy and it's like really focused, like, let's make this happen. Let's get on with it. And they're full of energy and they've got so many ideas and they might even talk really fast like I just did. And one of the things with that is that they've got a lot of dopamine happening, that their serotonin levels are quite good, and the energy is there. And this energy comes when there's passion, when there's excitement. Their voice might be loud at times too because they're so excited. And then all of a sudden you go to them and you say, right, I've done this and I'm super excited and let's keep it going. And they're like, yeah, no, I'm done. The other thing that you may notice is that sometimes if you have an employee, for example, that has neurodivergent traits, that you come to them and you ask them to do a task. It could just be, could you just tidy up this folder in our D drive, whatever it is? Could you just put some order in there? I know that you're great at putting things in order. Could you do that for me? I'd love for that to be done by the end of today. Thank you so much. And you might have had a Teams video call for that. You might have had a phone call. It could have been an email. Now, if you've had or you're in the office space and you've gone to them and asked them, if they were the instructions, what was the reaction that you got? I'm kind of laughing because I've actually been the person that's been asked to do this, and I've been the person that's asked someone to do it. Now, I remember in a particular work situation where I asked one of my staff members to tidy up some files. They were actual paper files. And I said, we need these all in alphabetical order, please. Now, I forgot to get really specific. So when I thought of alphabetical order, I thought their surname, because a lot of the work that I've done over the years, when I put anything in a particular order, often it is in a surname. If it's a personnel file. If I'm working with businesses, it's in the business's name. So if it's like Break Free Consultancy, it's B. It's where it begins. So my staff member, and I said, I need you to put them on this spreadsheet as well. So could you just write them, because at the time we didn't have the access to the internet, it was down, that kind of thing. So my admin person said, sure, not a problem. I thought, great, that's one thing, that's one less thing. When I look at the spreadsheet, I'll be able to know what we've got for each person. The files will be all in order. So it was really clear what they had to do. Fill in the spreadsheet. So have they got first aid? Have they got this? Have they got that? Right? Working with children's. Have they done an NDI sanitation module? Like, have they done the risk assessment course? Have they done the documentation course? Like, have they done all their training? Put it all in alphabetical order. I honestly thought, and I gave them the files and I said, when you've done this, I need the paper files in alphabetical order as well. That would be amazing. And I honestly thought that even though I had put first name, surname, and then their date of birth and so on and so forth, and there was a little tick list along the way, I actually thought that stuff that my admin person would put it in surname because even the title, like even the sticker on the file was surname first, even though on the spreadsheet I'd put first name. So what I ended up with was a file, beautifully done, everything in order, did an amazing job, but that didn't match our filing system, like in the sense of the G drive, and that's why I wanted it, so that it would match that. Was that actually Dropbox as well. And so when I got the list back, and she's like, yeah, I've done it all, it was great, and it took her a couple of hours to do because we had a lot of stuff and things were missing. So then we had a list. I said, could you highlight if there's something missing? Can you just use the yellow highlighter for something missing? If something is about to expire, so we had a key so that we were all on the same page, at least I thought. When I got it back, and I can understand how this happened now, but at the time I was not happy. When I got it back, it was all in first name alphabetical order. Now, nothing else in our system was that way. It was always surname alphabetical order. So when I got it back, she had done this amazing work, but it was, let's say it was Mary Smith, instead of, so Mary would have been like in the middle because of the M, instead of more being down towards the bottom because of the S. And I have to say that I had a little bit of a meltdown over this, because I'm like, no, this is not in order. So what do you mean? It's in alphabetical order. And I went, yeah, no, it needs to be the surname. And she goes, but in the way you've done, if you had have done surname, first name, then I would understand that. And I said, no, I need to look at it from first name, surname, because that's how I read things. But I needed the order, the surname needed to be the alphabetical order. Now, most people would not get stressed by this because they could then adapt that when looking at the computer system later. But I can't do that easily. My brain's almost got to look at the two things. So I said to her, very, very bluntly, I will add, and I forgot if only I had been in ADHD in that moment in time, but I was very in a blunt, direct state. I said, okay, great work. So I did manage that part. I said, but this is not in order. She went, it is. It's in alphabetical order. I said, no, it's not. She said, it is. And I said, it's not. And she started to get a bit upset because, and I can now see in hindsight her side of it. But for me, because there was pattern recognition for me, and that's how I adapt and that's how I look at things, I said, it's not in the file, on the outside of the file, we've highlighted the surname. Like when we file it, we put it under S for Smith, not M for Mary. We do that with the participants' files as well. But it will say Mary Smith, but we've capitalised the Smith and we file it under Smith. That's what we do. So why have you not and I could not understand it. It did not make sense to me. I can see now what happened, but it took me probably 2 weeks to work it out because of my recognition of, because this is the pattern, this is how we always do it. Don't change how we do it. I don't like that. So that can be some of the things that a lot of people with autism struggle with change. It's not that we can't adapt. It's not that we're not appreciative of people's work. It's just like, if it's wrong, it's wrong. And I'm going to tell you it's wrong. And the presentation sometimes can be a little bit hard. And sometimes I do that on social media as well. Someone will ask a question and I'll go, yeah, just do this. Oh, and you need to know this, this, and this. It's like, they didn't ask for that last part. But, freebie, here you go, just have some extra information. So presentation and communication, especially when you're running your own business, can actually have a deep, either a positive or a negative experience for your clients. So if you have some autism and you're running a business and you wonder why people think you're rude, it's maybe not that you are rude, it's just how they've perceived your tonality and your directness with information, and that you expect things to be this way because that's what makes sense to you and your brain. But often neurotypicals don't get it, and they have some flexibility, or some of them don't. Like some of them actually have less flexibility than a person with ADHD. So let's get into ADHD part. So the ADHD part can be brilliant, and as I've said, your boss might come to you and say, can you do this? And they're full of energy and you're super excited because this is a fun project. And then by the time you're ready to give them a bit more information and take it to the next step, to keep this project going, because, hey, we might nail this in the next 2 days. They're like, yeah, no, I'm done. What? Like, we've just started. You were super excited. Yeah, no, I'm done. Now, I'm now on to, so, we might have been writing the world's greatest novel, and I'm now on to learning how to go paragliding because I thought I might go paragliding on the weekend. Yeah, what now? I thought we were working on this book. Yeah, no, that's okay. We'll just we'll do that later. But hey, do you want to learn about paragliding? Because that's super cool. Or do you want to learn how to make bracelets? I don't know. We're on to something else. It can be fun, but it can be frustrating as well for the other people. Don't worry, it's fun it's frustrating for us too, because at the moment in my business, I decided that not only was I bringing out the magazine, but I'm bringing out a bonus gift to go with the magazine, and I'm bringing out all these other short courses, and I have to bring all that out at once because now I'm focused on doing that, because then when I've done that, I'll have this amazing bundle of resources that's even better than it was before. But of course, I have to do all that now, even though I'm physically exhausted, because that's what we do. The idea is here, so let's make that happen. And then you wonder why you're exhausted and you're not sleeping. And that's the other thing, that a lot of people with neurodivergent traits do get burnt out in workplace quite quickly, because all the energy is going into something, but we're starting with less energy than other people. We're never starting with a full cup of energy. It's never a full cup. And then we take it home with us and we keep processing it, and we can't let it go until it's done. Like, I have gardening to do. I'm not going to show you a picture because I'm laughing about it, but I don't need to show it to you. But let's just say that the weeds have had an amazing time growing. They're thriving. My weeds are thriving. They're just having a ball out there. They're just growing and growing, and I'm kind of giggling to myself a little bit. Look, it won't take long. It might take me 2 days, 3 days, 5 days if I want to sort it properly and get rid of everything. But like, there's going to be a way that it'll be sorted. But the thing is, my weeds are out there having an absolute ball, thriving, and I should be out there sorting it out. Instead, I'm inside busy creating new stuff to the point where I can't leave the house until I've done this part. But the problem is that with the hyper focus and the hyper fixation and the hyper excitement about this new project, that, sometimes when we get to the boring stuff, yeah, it's a little harder to keep it going, which is why sometimes people that have ADHD will sometimes, especially in the workplace, once that they get to that, there's no dopamine in this for me. It's not a conscious thing. It's just this, that's boring now. What do you mean I've got to sit here and file this? Like, no, I don't want to do the filing. Or, the editing, I've got to sit here and read this. Are you kidding me? Yeah, no, there's no dopamine in that. No. So ways and tools and strategies. So let's talk about those. So one of the things is checklists are good. Got to remember where the checklist is though. So sometimes a checklist that goes across all devices can be really great. There's a few people creating apps that actually help with that. There's also having like a buddy system. So occasionally I will go to a cafe. Like, I use a cafe for my buddy system. The people don't know me, but it's just having other people around. Even though they're eating and talking and socializing, it's kind of like there's somebody else all around. So I do my thing, and then I might go, "Hi, how you going?" And and then maybe order a coffee or order something to eat. So buddy systems can be really great. Another thing is alarms. Now, when I have calls booked in where I've got to call somebody, whether it's an appointment or something like that, I will have an alarm for half an hour before, so that it gives me time to stop what I'm doing, move my body, get into a different position and things like that. And then it will be 5 minutes before, because don't trust me to remember that the reason I got up. Now, occasionally, if I'm on a roll, there will be 3 alarms. There will be the hour before the appointment. It will actually say that, 1 hour warning before a call, or whatever it is. Then there will be the half-hour one to make sure that I actually did move and did start to do something at the hour, because generally I don't. I go, okay, I've got an hour. I'll just quickly do this bit, and then I just lose track of time. And then there's the 5-minute warning, and I say, you've got 5 minutes. Do not start. I actually put some of this in my alarm. So when the alarm goes off, it actually comes up on my screen. Stop what you're doing. Do the call. Right, and it's really clear instructions. And I change up the ringtone as well, so I don't get too used to it that I just then ignore it. So just to recap, a couple of strategies are a to-do list that goes across all devices can be great, that it ticks off in all devices. If you're like me and you do it on paper, do it electronically as well, purely because, and use your diary, this can help, with a little alarm and things like that. It pops up, 20 minutes to this appointment, but always do that 5-minute one. So you've got like a bit of a warning to get into things. A bit of a warning. Stop doing what you're doing. Now let's start preparing for this. And now it's time to action, right? Got to be on for this call or whatever it is. If you work for yourself and you have the ability that that you've been going really hard with something, like, you decided to create 5 different courses all at once, because, like, these ideas just kept flowing. So you just kept creating, and you're halfway through all of them, and you've got to finish them, and you haven't finished them because now we're coming to stuff that takes time, and you've got to wait, and it's got to upload, and it's got to whatever. And you start to lose that interest. One of the things is to put in your diary or your notebook or wherever you're going to see it is, have you finished this? Think about how amazing this will be. Like, and those positive to keep you, and add in a bit of dopamine, but to keep you motivated. So, your motivator, your driver as to why you want to do this course and have it out there. Is it just purely for fun? Then, okay, it might not be as important as, this is going to make me actual money, right? I know this will work. I've tested it. Yes, this is I've just developed this great app, and we've tested it with people, and it's amazing. But getting that project working, and then having someone that can help you be accountable, but in a way that is not going to surface rejection sensitivity dysmorphia, because by gosh, when that one appears, it's like, yep, all tools are down. I'm the worst person in the world, and that self-talk, and then the meltdown comes, and the anxiety, and then the stemming starts, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, and a lot of people don't understand it. They just go, what's your problem? All I said is, have you finished this? Well, no, I haven't. I know I should have done it, and you start doing rejection sensitivity dysmorphia on yourself, and then you misread that person as, oh, they're being really hard on me. Like, well, just leave me alone. I know I didn't do it. I know I haven't finished it. Just back off. Like, or it's like, oh, I'm so ashamed I haven't done it. And it's actually not that. It's none of that. But if you do experience rejection sensitivity dysmorphia, it can be problematic, and it can be hardest on ourselves. So please be kind to yourself. And the other thing is that, what is the reward for finishing the job, because sometimes, well, not sometimes, I actually experience this on a regular basis, is I get super excited and I'm pumped, I do the job, I get the course done or the book finished or the project done. Could even be one day the gardening, who knows. I'll just, the weeds are okay, they've got another probably week of growing and then it'll be goodbye. Got to laugh about it, because if I don't, I will cry. I will go, oh my God, I should have got onto that. Anyway, one tool and strategy is that being kind to yourself. But when a project finishes, like when it's done, often people feel really proud of themselves. They go, yes, I've nailed that. That's great. I can have that bit of a break now, and I feel more organized because, my coaching bundle's all set, and this is great. And people start to go, okay, this is cool. I could do the gardening or go to the beach, or just I have a bit more time now. But often I have found with myself and other people who are neurodivergent, when that project finishes, it's like, okay, there's no dopamine. Like it's not the conscious thought of dopamine, right? There's just like, what do I do now? No, I've got, and there's got to be something to do, right? Like it's just how we are. Now, neurotypical people will go, okay, so what's our next project? What's our next step? But it's a different energy and a different feeling. So when a person who has neurodivergent traits finishes something, it's kind of like, what do we do now? Like, well, we could just sit here and write. No. We've got. Will we do something? Will we do another painting? Let's do another painting. No, we're packing it up. Oh, like it can be a little bit of a downer. The energy comes down, like all of that. So if you're aware of that, or if you are a partner to a person who's neurodivergent, don't plant any more seeds. Like maybe don't do that, and get to know your person and what they require. But one of the things is, and especially in business, is that when that person comes down, it's like, okay, give me something to do. I've done that to bosses. I've done everything you asked me to do. I've checked everybody else. I took the initiative. I've gone around and asked everybody if they needed anything else. I've cleaned the kitchen. I've done all these things. I can't think of anything else. What would you like? Give me a job to do. I can't sit here. If I've got no job to do, I'm going home. But I want to be paid. So give me a job to do. And sometimes the job that I was given was maybe to read the policies and procedures, and I was like, yeah, that's sure, because it's my boss. I'm not going to say no, I'm not doing it. And I remember like going through, and I had to put on music because there was no way I was going to find joy in policies and procedures until something clicked. And then I got excited because now I'm like learning about this compliance. I'm like, oh, what does that legislation mean? And how are we actually doing that? Like, and it was probably not a good move to get me to read the policies and procedures, because then I started to question more things. Not to the boss, but I just questioned it myself, and I kind of then observed other people, and yeah, my compliance and justice system stepped in, and I got a bit of dopamine. But it's kind of that thing of, what strategy do you have to do the boring, lacking dopamine thing, where there's no joy, there's no excitement, there's just nothing. It's like, oh, just got to wait here for the next 5 minutes while this downloads. Okay, what is it that you can do that can help that? So these are just a couple of tools and strategies. If you'd like some help, we do business. We have business coaching. We come in and do talks on neurodiversity in workplaces, and we also focus on health and well-being. So, and I love it. I love it. We're going to actually be running some events, over the next few months. So, and moving into doing more. Let's talk about ADHD, autism, neurodivergent traits, and running a business. There's some amazing, talented gifts, and there's some crazy challenges. Hey everybody, my name is Jacqui Grant, and welcome to this podcast video, wherever you're checking it out. This one's probably going to be one of the shorter ones because one of the things is that me right now doing this video, it is the end of the day and I'm starting to get a little fatigued. So when it comes to running a business, one of the biggest